Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday. We are here for a very special Learning Live. Last week, I put a poll in on our Facebook page, and you guys spoke. You spoke pretty loud and clear. I gave you a choice of color combinations and formats or fun other things to work with. And the resounding vote for tonight's Learning Live is to use traditional colors and a fun fold. So fun fold is something that Darlene and I both really love. So, this one really was not a hard choice for us. And you're going to see not one, but two different card projects tonight. Now, it's also very special because it's October 1st, and we are quickly approaching World Cardmaking Day. And so we've got something special to share with you, and that's why we had you help us pick colors, because we're going to create with something new, and it's now live on our site, and that is this beautiful fall florals. It's difficult to say, but easy to love, die set from Spellbinders. Spellbinders is a tremendously amazing partner that we absolutely love to work with. So a big shout out to Nicole and Kim. And even though Paula is in Africa, she has been a really fantastic partner all the way along. And they put together this die set with the coordinating sentiment die set. They put these together just for independent stores, specifically for World Cardmaking Day, and leading into the weekend to celebrate one of these crafts that we absolutely love. We are selling this as a bundle, and we have just a few of the florals set on its own. And we are, I'm beyond excited. I've been crafting with this for a couple of months now, and I'm really, really excited to be able to show you some of the things that we've been working on. Just to give you a better view of the die set, I'm going to bring my magnet over. The fall floral set is the top portion here of my magnet. So there's sunflowers and all the pieces that go with it. There's not one, but 3 different sizes of pumpkins. And then there's all kinds of foliage, including some really fabulous maple leaves, and some oak leaves, and some florals. This little guy here is the stems for your pumpkin. And let me tell you, they cut like an absolute dream. The sentiment set is 2 parts for each sentiment. There is the detail layer as well as the shadow layer. And I'm going to bring it this way so we can read it, because backwards is hard. So we've got grateful, thanks, happy, fall, birthday, hello, for, and you. So Darlene and I tonight have decided to do a double feature, and we are each creating with this set using those qualifications that you guys chose for us. So traditional colors and a fun fold. Just to show you before I hand it off to Darlene, here's just a couple of samples that I made using the set, using traditional colors, just to show you how totally beautiful and versatile this set is. But don't just take my word for it. Stay with us for the next hour. Each one of us is going to take about 25 minutes or so to create something stunning. And we're using these dies. And by the time we're done, we know that you're going to want it too. So without further ado, I'm going to throw the camera over to Darlene. Also say hi to Matt, who is managing all the technology for us. And let's just have some fun crafting. Off to Darlene.
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be here tonight to craft with you. So I'm going to get started because we have a busy night ahead. And I'm going to create a triangular note card fun card. That's a tongue twister in its own. But I thought it would be very unique to showcase the beautiful die sets that we are using tonight. So first things off, I am starting with the Nina Solar white cardstock. It's 8.5 by 11. It is an A2 size card, but just a little bit different. I will be cutting it. Let me move this down a little bit. At 4 1/4. So on the short side down, so you're having a top fold card. So a little bit different from our standard side fold card. It looks like a top fold, but it isn't. So next thing I am going to do is score it in half at 5.5. So just using my trimmer as my scoreboard. So that is our first piece, which is our base. So looks like a top fold, but we're using this as a side fold. The next piece I have to cut is a small little note card. And this one measures 5.5 by 3. So let me cut this up 5.5 first, just using the remaining piece of my letter size paper. And then let's turn it around and cut it at 3, just so I have the 5.5 by 3. Oops. If I can get this straight on the cutter. And then we will score this in half at 2 3/4. It is easier just to fold the paper in half if you don't want to use your scoreboard, but since I have it in front of me, I will use it. So those are the 2 major cuts for our fold. But before we can assemble this, we need to add some paper in and do another cut with this card. So with this card here, it's a triangular cut card, so we need to cut a little piece off here, a triangle essentially. So I want to open my card so that way we're not cutting through the back. Hard to see, but I am lining the score line, so the 5.5 mark on my track of my trimmer. So I'll just put it, green pen here, just so you can see. So this part here, which is your score mark in the track of your trimmer, but you also want to line up the opposite end, diagonal end, also to the track of your trimmer. So I'm making sure that and this opposite end is in the track, and I'm going to do a slice. So the way I like to slice this paper is to start in the middle so it doesn't catch at any of the ends and then tear. If you have it lined up, hold your flap down, and with the blade in the middle, go up and then go down. So that way it doesn't catch at the corners and it doesn't tear your card. So that is the first part. This is just an extra piece. We can use it for scrap. We have our note card. Now for our pattern paper. So for my pattern paper, I am using a little bit of Sweet Weather, which is a collection pack by Echo Park. I am also using some colored cardstock from Simple Stories, the Color Vibe collection that matches the cardstock. So I've already gathered some of the paper that I wanted to use. And this one here has this nice plaid look to it. And that is going to go in the inside of my card. So for my inside, I need 5.5 by 4 1/4. Where's my 5.5? By 4 1/4. So that's like an A2 size panel. So that one will go right in here like that. And then I need another pattern paper. And I decided to go with the mustard, which is a Color Vibe. There's dotted on one side and there's a solid on the other side. So for this one here, I'm also going to cut it at 4 1/4 by 5.5. So I'm just going to save some of this paper. And where's my 5.5? Right over here. Because it's in the front part of our card, we want that triangular. So I'm going to do the same thing here. The top corner in your track, the opposite corner in the track as well, to get that diagonal. Flap down, blade in the middle, up and down. That way you're not tearing these corners here because the blade loves to catch onto those and pull on it. So I think for me, I am going to use the solid side. I'm not sure. Let's see. Both of them will be solid because of the way I cut it. But so I think that is what I like. Next thing I need is just a nice panel here, which I selected a pattern paper and I picked green. This green, it's called Hey Pumpkin, has a little bit of pattern paper. So let me just cut off the fuzzy cut marks at the top. And this one is 3 inches by 2 3/4. So let's cut that. 3 inches by 2 3/4. You could tell this paper is well loved with the amount of uses that came out of it. Little one right here. So it's optional. I am going edge to edge. If you like that white border, you could cut it a little bit smaller. But for now, so far, that is what we have. Okie dokie. Next thing we are going to do is adhere this in the inside. I think I'm going to just turn it around so I have more of the white showing. Make sure my adhesive is ready to go. And I'm just holding the cover upward so I can really butt it right to the spine where the fold is. And match it down. Oops, I said I was going to leave it, but I end up doing it the other way. It's not biggie. Just want to make sure. Whoops. And then now we have this panel here, which is going to go right on the outside. So let's stick that one down. And I want to make sure that I get really into those corners because that's the first thing that will lift on your card is these little pointy corners. So really put adhesive there so it doesn't catch onto something and then pull. And let's put that down. Okay, so making sure everything's folded. I am going to just burnish the spine to keep that flap flat. Next thing, so as you can see, there is a triangular flap. Now for our note card. This note card serves as a space for you to write, but also as a closure. A little bit different. Very unique, but I'm just matching this on the front here. Make sure you push it down. Now I'm going to put adhesive on the white part, so that's the back of the note card. And this is going to be attached to the middle of the inside. So for me, I want to make sure that this flap doesn't interfere. So let me find my middle first. So approximately there. Before I stick it down, I'm going to close that flap, make sure it's not catching there. And just eyeballing it, make sure it's centered left, right, top, and bottom. And let's just push that down. So that is the first part of the card. So this is the triangular note card fun fold. And it's just lots of openings. If you know me, you know I like my flips and flaps. Now to decorate. In the interest of time, I've already die cut a bunch of leaves and, branches and sunflowers and pumpkins. So then you didn't have to watch me die cut.
You've really been die cutting. Holy cow. You could make a dozen cards there.
Right? Well, might as well. It was easy just to put a bunch in and then do random colors. And of course, with the whole traditional fall colors, I had to add purple in it because it's not the same if we don't add purple. And another thing I did off screen was I already glued the stems on the pumpkins just because they're really finicky. But look at that detail. So one thing I wanted to do, might not use all, but I do want to get some color so that way when I'm decorating the card, I am ready to go. I did ink the cardstock just to give it a little bit more orange. I wanted it to pop and still have that brownie orange, but a pop of the brightness. So I am using carved pumpkin because, you know, I had to. And just using my brush, I'm going on the edges and just inking some of that bright color into it. It is bright, but because it's on this cardstock, it's not as bright as what you would see on my desk mat. So let me ink some color. And it's a great way to change your cardstock to a color that you like. So I'm just inking it. The little pumpkin's a little bit more tricky, but it's okay. Oh, but let me add, this might be easier because it's so tiny. So just brushing some of that orange on the side. Oops, I think it needs a little bit more. So you can tell the bright orange on this pumpkin is not as bright, but it does give it some life and dimension, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's what I like about this, is that just a little bit of ink goes a long way. Let me soften that big blob here. And let me just do a few more, and then we can start putting our card together. There.
Weren't those pumpkins really easy to cut out?
They are very easy to cut out. And I like how the two small ones are on one die. It was really good. Like everything in this set cut really nicely. And that's a nice thing about Spellbinders. They do cut easily, and they combine some of the little things together. Like all the stems were one die. Some of the flowers were all in one die too. So that way you can cut in multiple colors and be able to use them right away. So I think that is good for my oranges. Oops, this is a little bit lighter, but that's okay. I do have some other small ones. So, okay, so here is now the decorating part. I really wanted a big pumpkin and then mixed in with my sunflowers. So with my sunflowers, there's 3 layers. I did the actual flower part with pattern paper, just an added texture. And then I went and found 2 Color Vibe colors to go with the sunflower, just to change it up a little bit, like that. So let's stick this one on. So this one has lots of holes, so I'm just putting glue where there's an empty space. It might ooze out a little bit, but that's okay. That one is going to go in the middle. I love the added layers. It made the flowers look so real. And then that one goes here. So this one I will glue flat. Okay, so that is the main. Let me just make sure that's center. My flap keeps opening, so let me just play over here. Next, I have to figure out what I want to use. So let me grab some branches. Some of the branches I did it on pattern paper, and some I did on colored cardstock. So there's variations. I'm just grabbing a few leaves. It's like you're making a floral arrangement. That's what I feel. Okay, let's start with that. So let's stick my pumpkin down. And with my pumpkin, I am going to use my foam square. And I'm just going to put one in the middle so that way I have the sides free to tuck things behind. So let's put it lower, like right over here. And then I'm going to glue some sprigs. And so I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the little leaf, not too much because I want some of those leaves to flow. And let's mix some of these colors. Can't forget the maple leaf. And this is where I go crazy and use lots of foam. I love my foam. And what I really love about the set is the maple leaves. It's really hard to find things with maple leaves on it. And clusters. So does anyone like the season of fall? Is that anyone's favorite season? I love it when the leaves are changing colors. So let's grab another yellow. And so really now is the decorating part, adding leaves around, because that's my main focal point. I'm going to add my sunflower here. So I'm going to add nice pop. I might put it on this side over here. Let's add some leaves. That one. And here. So I'm adding a bunch of leaves, color. So this one here, I need to add one part of the flower. So I already have some already done up too. So what I did was I die cut in like a little plum. I put it on a washi tape so I don't lose them. But I need 5. So let's take out 5, 3, 4.
Darlene, it looks like you do have a few people who agree with you that fall is a great time of year.
Yes. You got it. One of my favorites. It's not too hot, not too cold. I love the change of color of the leaves. The only thing is it gets dark too early. And that was like tonight. It was dark already at 7. Because I think time change is approaching soon. Is it next month? But so here I am just using a wax tip, almost like a jewel picker, to help me lift those up and glue it. So I put glue on each of those bottom of those buds, and it just makes sticking it so fast. And I'm making sure I have the right way. And
you have a whole other month to wait before time change happens.
Oh, that's good. Well, it's fall back, right? So we get 1 hour of sleep, 1 extra hour.
Too bad it's not like 12 hours of extra sleep.
Yeah. That means more crafting time if it was 12 hours. I get to craft longer. So there you go. It's easy with a tool. So if you're thinking they're too small, with a special tool or tweezers, those will make it so much easier. So here I am just adding a bead of glue on it. And let's stick this. Let's put it on this side. Peeking through. Now let's add some more of the little pumpkins. So even though you can't see the big ones, I love adding more and more to it. So here is another one. And we need to add a baby pumpkin. Let's add the baby one on this side. So what the baby pumpkin needs, a baby square, foam square. And I'm going to just double it up because I had the thin one. And let's add that one just over here. So let me add a few more flowers, but because of the orange, I want to bring in some of the reds just to brighten up a little bit. Other color, or even the orange. Might be too similar. And there's a lot of yellow already, so let's put some more maple leaves. So this is my main focal point, and then I was trying to figure out which sentiment I wanted to use, because that was another hard choice. So I have 3 different sizes of leaves. Let's try this one. This is our new profession, floral arrangements. Okay, let me leave that for now. Oops, that one might need a little bit more glue. I might come back to it. So with my sentiment, at first I had it, I die cut Grateful for You. And what I did was I die cut it 3 times and I stacked it just to make it thicker. And the way you would do that, so this already has a few stacked, but I wanted to show you what I would do, is this is the back. Using your glue, I'm just going to put little tiny beads. Because it's so small, you don't need a lot. You just want to make sure at least most of the letters have at least a dot or 2. Just like that, because it will stay. And then I line it up with my other one. And because it's wet glue, I can use my fingers and move it around to make sure they are stacked nicely. And the reason why I stack it is so that way it's nice and raised. It'll pop up off your page. And also to put foam tape on this is really, really tricky. Another option, if you don't like stacking, is that Spellbinders does like a foam sheet that cuts out dies, that you can use it for cutting out die cuts, and you can use that instead of paper. So I had Grateful for You, but now it's too dark, so I did do the shadow so it would pop. So let's glue that onto the shadow.
That looks really great with the yellow behind.
Oh, thank you. I went back and forth, I don't know how many times for color. It was hard. And with the shadow, you just want to make sure that you have yellow go all the way around the letters. So I'm just using my thumb and just moving the letters so it's centered. And I'm not sure if you can see that, but you can see the raise. So it's really raised. Grateful's raised. And it looks like you put foam behind it, but you didn't. Because if you, oh, I already glued Gratefuls. I can't even show you, but let me show you if you were just using, so here is 4. That's a single layer. And this is the 4, the shadow. And if you glued it down, there's no height. It's flat. Whereas Grateful here, I'm not sure if you could see it, but you could see height. So it has that raised look to it. So now I don't need to put foam. If you really want that dimension, you want to add foam, you can. But stacking all those, let me put this one on this side. And I want to make sure it's not too much to scoreline because I need to be able to open the note card. And then same thing for 4. I already stacked a few. I'm going to add the last one. And stack. Another thing you can do if you don't like gluing these little intricate sentiments is double-sided tape. You attach the double-sided tape to your cardstock before you die cut, and that way all you have to do is peel the backing. That works really good too. So here is 4. Oops, I don't need that piece. And I need my U. So grateful for you was the word I chose, the sentiment I chose. So now, because I'm sticking this at the bottom, I might not need the shadow because then it's yellow on yellow. I didn't think that through, but I think for you might work just on its own. So that's for you. I might put it on this side. So right over here. Trying to probably center like that. Or hidden message, you could put it inside, which that might work too. I think I like that better. Just different. It is a little bit puffy. I think I just like the for you. The choices. So let me glue, and I'm going to do probably at the bottom so that way I can write a message. Oops. Just holding that down. Adding glue to you. And here. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I found this empty, so I am going to add something on this side just so it ties in whether it's just small pumpkins or big pumpkins. Because when the recipient opens up, this looks kind of plain, so I wanted to add just a little bit something. It could be a pattern paper, but I felt like it needs a little bit of something. So I'm just gluing that on the side here. Little baby pumpkin. And let's add a pop of color. And let's bring in some green. Maybe not enough glue there. And almost done. So I can go on and on and on with the decorating, depending on how you like your clusters. Let me add one more thing down here. No, the yellow gets disappears there. Let's add where it is. So let me add one more here. So that way, so I put a foam square on this leaf here, so it can add as a little tuck spot just to help hold that down. Just have to be careful when you open it up And you could for sure add another sunflower on this side. So let's do one quick one. And I think I want to use the same two. Let's add a sunflower right in the inside. I find that centerpiece the trickiest one because it has lots of holes. And eyeball. I do like how that peeks out. Right at this corner. So that is my fun fold, the triangular note card fun fold. That's a tongue twister, but there you go. Using the beautiful Spellbinders set, the fall florals and the fall sentiments. You have a little scenery, grateful, and then you open it up, it says for you, a little hidden message. So that is my card for tonight.
And now it's back to me. So I know we've got some people that joined a little part way through. Thank you very much, Darlene, for that amazing project. It's nice to have all those pieces cut so you can just pick and play and carry on. And in case you missed it off the beginning, this is the die set that Darlene and I are both creating with. It's the Fall Florals. It's a special, independent only exclusive from Spellbinders. They designed this just for stores like ours. And then there is the Happy Fall Sentiments as well. So we are offering these to celebrate World Cardmaking Day as a bundle, and the Fall Florals are also available on its own while supplies last. We only have a very limited number of these available. So now it's my turn. And I don't know that my fun fold has a name to it, but it's pretty darn cool. So when you're looking at it like this, it is just like a regular card. But when you open it up, there is a little pull-out surprise. So I don't know if that's what we're going to call it, is a pull-out surprise, but it's super fun and it's super easy. This is using the Harvest paper from Cartabella. I've been playing with the 6x6 pad quite a bit. You could also use the 12x12. The patterns on the 12x12 aren't too large, but it's nice to have that 6x6. And I've got the thanks down here. And while I know we said a traditional color, I was pulling, a lot of colors from this paper pack, and there are even some pink pumpkins. So that's where this beautiful pink color, this is Briar Rose by Concord and Night, and bringing in some of the teal as well. But just really, really fun. And I've been really loving the brushed gold metallic cardstock from Spellbinders. You'll see it on a lot of my projects as we go along. Here is another one. So what I did, instead of cutting out the sentiment and having the sentiment popped up, I've just left the sentiment peeking behind. This is using a brand new embossing folder from Spellbinders. What's it called? It is called Oak Forest. It's one of the 3D folders from Spellbinders, and I absolutely love it. And I really loved this red. So here I've pulled the leaf paper, and then we've got our little pop-out surprise as well. So hopefully this checks the box for you for traditional fall colors, because the card we're actually going to make, I went a little bit rogue. Now, Halloween is still considered fall, is it not? So I am going to be, instead of creating a fall card, I am going to be creating a Halloween card using some very traditional Halloween colors, and also Darlene and my colors, green and purple. I've got some pattern paper. Now I already went ahead and cut my pattern paper out. I will definitely go through measurements. Where did I put that? Usually what I do when I'm playing with a fun fold, I'll take a color of cardstock that I don't particularly care for or have an awful lot of, and I make myself what we call a sloppy copy or a template, and I've got all my measurements written on here, but also written them on Post-it notes that I will share with you as we move along. So to make this fun fold, to make this pop-out surprise, you do need 2 pieces of cardstock that are cut for a traditional A2 card. So ultimately that is, let me pull out my Post-it note, 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score it in half. Now the inner piece, I started with that same size, but we do need to trim it down just a little bit, just so that it nests inside the card. And I'm just going to put my 2 Post-it notes up here in the corner. So I think what I decided is I'm going to use green as my outer layer and purple as my inner layer. This is cilantro from Lawn Fawn. This is fig from Concord and Knife, probably one of my favorite purples in the set. And let's get these card bases ready. So my outer one, I want 8.5 by 5.5, which it is, and I'm going to score it at 4.25. Really essentially just making a standard A2 size card that is 4.25 by 5.5 when it is folded. So putting it in horizontal, finding that 4.25 mark, and just scoring it down. And I can already hear you. We're using these pumpkins and these leaves and everything else here. I bet you're already wondering how I'm going to make this Halloween. Just join me for the next few minutes and I will show you. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to burnish it along that fold, and this piece is ready. So I'm going to put it off to the side. All right, my next piece is 8 by 5.25. So this is my purple piece. And so I need to trim it down a little bit because right now it's 8.5 by 5.5. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do my score lines first. So this piece here is going to go in. I'm going to score at 4. And full transparency, I'm doing the score lines first because I need to cheat on the measurements. So 4 inches, then I'm going to score at 6 inches. And then this is not typically part of the mechanism, but I'm going to score at 8 inches because this is where I need to cut. I am being lazy and I'm only using my guillotine trimmer and it doesn't have big enough measurements. So that's my way of cheating to get that down to size. All right. So I need to trim off at this little mark. So we are now 8 inches this way. I just need to take it down now to 5.25 this way. Get my blade out of the way. All right, and now my inner card is the right size. So this one is 8 by 5.25. I scored at 4, which is the middle, and 6, which is our little pullout. And this is our outer, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. This one we're going to fold like the letter Z. And fold this one back. And now this is ready to go. When we are ready to assemble, this is going to nest inside just like this. But we do have a couple of steps first to the outside before we can stick this inside piece in. And that is really just the hole in our front cover. So I have my pattern paper, and so I've got them here. The mat is 4 by 5.25. That's my black layer. The next layer down is 3 3/4 by 5. So those are all ready to go. This is going to nest onto here. However, cutting through 3 layers of paper, I don't think my die cutting machine can handle that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by layering these two together. I just love Doodlebug. It's just, the colors are so bright and cheerful. They really make me happy. And I'm still following the rules. It's still traditional, right? Okay, so I have this all ready to go. What I need to do is cut this circle. And for just like the other cards, the set I am using is the postage edge circles from Spellbinders. This big one here, I'm taking 2. This big one here, I've actually already cut some frames in different colors. That's going to be on my outside, but I need that inner opening too. So I'm just going to lay it here. I'm going to scooch it towards the top so I've got room down here for my sentiment. Sadly, cutting right in between these little ghosts. Grab a little bit of yellow tape to hold everything together, just so my circle doesn't move. And off I go to die cut. 2 layers I think is going to be fine. This cilantro cardstock is quite thick, so I really don't think cutting all 3 layers at once was a great idea, but I'll show you how to work around that. All right, so now gently pull that up so it doesn't tear my paper. And I am going to hang on to, especially this black piece, because we may need it in a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to lay this down. I'm not sticking it down yet, but I'm going to take my pencil and just lightly mark where that opening is going to go. And that way I can now put my circle back down on the green card, retape it, and die cut the outer piece. And honestly, this is the absolute hardest part of the whole card, the whole mechanism, is just making sure you've got that opening. Pop. And I'm going to dig this out. So put the tape away. Put the tape away. Put my die back here so I don't lose it. And I bought a green piece. So, you know, it's nice that we've got lots of extra little pieces that we can use for other cards. Now that I've got my opening, I can just match up my circles and put them in place. I think this time I'm going to use liquid glue just so that this opening is nice and sealed. And then we go like this. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Using my favorite Nuvo glue. And flip. And this is where I definitely recommend that you have it open, because then you can see where the hole is and just slide it into place. Okay. We'll come back to the cover and, well, no, we're actually not going to get rid of the cover, because now we're going to take this piece here and nest it inside. So your pullout is going to go on the right-hand side. And because this piece is a little bit smaller, you are going to nest it so that you've got a little border all the way around all 4 sides. Now I started with tape runner here. I think I may add some liquid glue as well. This piece is going to get played with a lot, so you really want to make sure that it's going to stick and not pull out, because that would really be a surprise, is if the whole thing pulled out on you. All right, flip it over, nudge it in place, and away we go. So there's our purple piece. There is our cover. Much like we decorated the front with a black mat and with some pattern paper, I did the same thing for the inside. I've got this cute little spider paper. I believe it's called Eek. That's what I say whenever I see a spider. Eek. And these are, the mat is 1 3/4 by 5. The spider piece is 1.5 by 4 3/4. So we're just going down 1/4 inch each time. And you need 2 of these because we've got these 2 panels that we are going to decorate. This paper is super cute. It's got the green spider webs with spiders on the one side, and then the other side just has white spider webs, which is really cool. So you could easily mix and match these as well. Okay. And when I cut them, I can tell that this is the right way because my spiders are joining here in the middle. And so I know that this piece needs to go on this panel. And this piece needs to go on this panel. And even though they're not side by side, your eye is naturally going to connect and know that these belong together. Okay, so we're getting there, we're getting there. So the next thing we need to do is add this center panel here. And we also are going to add this frame. So this is where we need to make some decisions. So I have a black frame. I have, this is the, much like I've been playing with the brushed gold, Spellbinders also has this brushed, almost metallic or iridescent white. That one looks really cool. Or I could do the purple to tie the purple on the inside in. I think I like the white the best. And so that means to me, maybe what I'll do is I will do that center panel in purple so that that makes the connection. Everybody following so far? I think this is going to be really fun. Now we do have extra pieces as well, and I do find it's nice to double layer this, much like Darlene did with her words. If you double layer, it's just going to give it a little bit more strength. So let's put the black on the back. It's not really going to be seen, but it's just that extra little bit of strength. And I'm going to put this white frame on before I lose it. Just a little bit of liquid glue. Oops, I missed a spot. This time I'm going to grab my tweezers because I like having, something that I can really grab onto. And once again, I am just matching up that opening. You can always zigzag it in here. And now I'm going to glue these 2 pieces together, and then I will show you how you get the piece in the right spot. Okay. So that's just a double layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold up my card as if it were closing. And I'm going to put glue right here in this opening. And you're like, what? You're going to put glue when you don't even have a piece ready? Trust me, trust me, trust me. So I'm just putting glue in that opening. And now my little circle, there's no right or wrong way, is just going to pop right in. And then just hold it gently while you lift that cover up. Make sure it's nice. Oops, got a little bit of glue there. But now everything lines up perfectly. And that really is the mechanism. So all we are left to do now is well, not that it's not all fun, but the super fun part, which is the decorating. And this is where I'm sure you're all saying, how on earth are you using that beautiful fall die set to make Halloween? Well, I've got my muffin tin too, just like Darlene did, but she cut way more than I did. So I'm just going to pull mine all out so that I can see everything. I cut some green pumpkins, some orange pumpkins. I've also got some flowers and some leaves. And maybe this is where I did deviate a little bit from traditional colors, but pulling in those traditional Halloween. I'm leaving it closed. I'm actually going to grab a little clip to keep it closed, because the one thing that is key with this mechanism is that you can't cross the borders. You want to stay in this purple circle area or it's going to be hidden. So I'm going to grab an orange pumpkin, and I think maybe a green pumpkin and a yellow pumpkin. That's kind of my base. I pre-cut but did not glue all my little stems. So let me get my pumpkins ready. I'm not going to ink them. Darlene did a beautiful job inking them, but there's so much detail in these guys that, and with the cleanliness and the simplicity of a doodlebug paper, I don't think I need to ink it. I'm going to just let it pop. I'm just putting a little dot of glue where the stem is going to attach. Don't know why I keep popping my lid back on. So here we go. One stem. Just like so. Two of the stems are very similar in size, so if you happen to get the wrong one, not that big a deal. Make sure, and if it's a little bit, cattywampus, that's okay, because most pumpkins have a little bit of a unique shape, angle, jaunty angle for their stems and their leaves. But there you go. So there's my pumpkin. And much like Darlene did, I'm just going to use foam squares down the center so I've got room to tuck. So there's my big one. That's going to go off to the side. My green one here, also just down the center. Do I have any questions, Matt? Anybody?
Nothing. Everybody's quiet.
Everybody's quiet. That means they're thinking about fall, thinking about Halloween, thinking about what traditional colors means to them. How dark it is. It's all good. So here's my three little pumpkins sitting on the gate. I need some added color. So I did cut this little.
That's pretty as is,
It is quite pretty, isn't it?
not gonna fit.
Nope. So what do you do when it doesn't fit? You trim it off. I'm just gonna trim those little guys off. Now this one, whoops, come on fingers. That can just tuck in there. Maybe I've got some green leaves here too. Let's do that one first. Tuck that under. And I really, for both the fall color or fall cards that I showed you as I got started, as well as this one, I really just pulled colors from the paper. I tried not to think too hard and just really tried to keep it true to the paper. And
Others commenting that you may have to watch this again to try it.
definitely. And that, you know what, that is the beauty of replay is, we've tried to step it out for you. So you've got lots of great instructions and you can come back. Maybe this one. I really like this pearlescent white, but that guy is a little bit too long. So let's Let's snip them off. And I think if you guys take one thing away from tonight is know that it's okay to cut your die cuts. If they don't fit, you want to make them fit. You want to force them in. And I mean, Darlene did such beautiful clustering. I'm probably gonna just keep mine pretty simple. Oh, you know what though? I realized there's something I forgot. So I need to leave space at the top here. I think that's it. I think if I tried to put any more leaves in, it might get too cumbersome. The paper is busy, but there is something really key that I want to add to this. I do have to do the sentiment too, but aha, here they are. My pumpkins need eyes. So I'm going to use the monster eyes. Oh, are we out? Or close to it. So I'm going to put purple eyes on my orange pumpkin. It's a good thing I'm placing another Spellbinders order. There we go. And maybe, sure I do. Challenge accepted. Let's do green eyes on the green pumpkin. Just hiding behind here.
This is why you wanted to use doodle paper. So
this is 100% why I wanted to do Halloween, because I needed to put eyes on my pumpkins. And let's just do these little black eyes on this little baby pumpkin here, because everything is cuter with eyes.
Put the glasses on them too, then?
I did not cut the glasses. Okay, that totally makes me happy. And that's going to open. That's going to reveal. You could decorate the inside of this as well. I really like how that's turning out though, so I don't really want to muck around with it too much. Here, I added some extra leaves. This one here, I added pumpkin and a leaf. But the last thing that this card definitely does need is a sentiment. So I cut myself a strip of black. The black's going to go across like this. But then I also have a piece of this brushed white cardstock that I was talking about earlier. And I love it. It's nice and big and thick. But what I did is I added some liner sheet. Spellbinders has 8.5 by 11 sheets of double-sided tape. It's called liner sheets. And what I like about it is it's really thin. You could use your double-sided tape for this, but I like these liner sheets because they're thin and they die cut really well. The other thing I did is I've got some shadow pieces just to put my extras on. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So this is going to make it sticky and it's going to make my letters really easy to use. So I'm going to do hello you. I haven't because I wanted to show everyone what it looks like when I die cut it. Okay, so hello you, and I'm centering it here on my white piece. I'm going to take my yellow tape just to make sure it doesn't move. And now we're going to cut. Whoops, and it goes flying. All right, so when I peel this up, let's peel the tape first. Yep, everybody's still watching. It's still good. I'm almost done. All right, so I'm going to pull the U. And the word is actually coming up with the die, but that's okay. And I'm going to pull the hello. Oh, this one got left behind, so I can lift that out. Keep it somewhere safe. And then I'm going to peel this backing. Maybe. There we go. attach it to my black strip. And then I need to come back over here to hello, grab my centers. And because it's got that adhesive on it already, oh, except my fingers aren't working. There we go. The adhesive is already there. My fingers just aren't grabbing it. There we go. And the E for my hello. Challenge accepted. Hello. Hello. The word is now going to go on this shadow that I can use on another card. Just like that. And then same thing with you. Pop.
What's that adhesive called again?
This is called Spellbinders liner sheets. We will add comments for you afterwards. I can grab the packaging in just a second as well. So there's the U. Here's my, I think the backing on my O got stuck. So when in doubt, just glue it. Grab my wax tool. Oop. And U, I need the little dot from the Y. So it makes it really, really easy to puzzle piece this together. I've got a hello U that I can use on another card, and 2 for the price of 1. I'll come down just a little bit. So there you go. Great little interactive card. I still followed the rules that it was traditional fall, just with a Halloween twist. And this is what the liner sheets look like. You get 4 sheets. They're 8.5 by 11. And I'm really frugal with them. I try to, you just cut the piece that I need. And it's perfect for using with die cutting machines and intricate dies. Really cuts beautifully. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining in for our double feature tonight. Thank you. Sure, if Darlene's there and ready. All right, so Darlene's is up and mine is up. Our cute little cards, there we go. Traditional fall colors, a cute little fun fold from each of us. And we have been using the fall floral dies from Spellbinders. These are an independent retailer exclusive just for World Cardmaking Day, which is on Saturday. We got lots planned. Come and see us in store. Make sure you join us on YouTube. We've got a whole day of goodies planned for you. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. Darlene, thank you for your amazing tips and tricks and for creating with me.
Oh, it was lots of fun. Thanks for having me.
All right. Good night, everyone.